And we are live. Welcome to a special military operation at the Russian Embassy in Canada, in Ottawa, Ontario. This is our first international special military operation. We have crossed an international border with Lord Laser, as Eve Gaumont has dubbed him. And we are projecting our greetings onto the Russian embassy. It is a big smiley face to celebrate Vladimir Putin's birthday, which was yesterday, and to celebrate the birthday present that was given to him by Ukrainian forces today or earlier today at the Kersh Bridge. If you're in Ottawa, come out and hang with us. We're going to be projecting lots of things on the embassy over the course of the evening. So far, there are no signs of countermeasures. I'm not surprised by that, actually. Whoa, that's kind of interesting image. I'm not surprised by that. I don't have any indication that the Russians even kind of know we're here. The embassy looks sort of abandoned. But we're going to be doing some stuff. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with our friends from the from NAFO have sent us a lot of images to project, and we're just gonna be doing that. Let me make a couple little adjustment here so that it draws these. Okay, there we go. Now we're going. So this says this little fella is telling Vladimir Putin to go fuck himself. The writing isn't quite so clear, but we're doing what we can. So if you're in Ottawa or in the nearby area and you want to come join us tonight, bring lights. I want to send a special shout out to the awesome people who held a referendum out yesterday or the other day on annexing this building. But come out and show your opposition to the murder of large numbers of Ukrainians, to the ongoing genocidal activity by the Russian government. Bring lights, bring, signs won't do a whole lot of good right now because it's quite dark, which is actually useful for purposes of projection. So this is an image of the Kersh Bridge. Unfortunately, it does not render properly, which I regret because I really wanted a good image of the Kersh Bridge. So we have some people starting to show up. Again, if you are in Ottawa, the lovely capital of Canada, come join us. We're out here, and we just went dark. Let me see what's going on here. Sometimes, you have to reset, and, you just gotta run with things as they happen. There, we're back. Whoops. Where'd we go? Okay. So this, I gotta say, I am not sure what this image is of. if people know what Quadrat is, they should tweet it at other folks. Somebody in the NAFO group sent me this image. I'm delighted to display it, but I confess I don't know what it represents. So, tweet at us, let us know, let people know, inform. And here is, of course, the famous NAFO logo. NAFO enlargement is non-negotiable, as the hashtag says. And we are proud to display NAFO products in special military operations. A special shout out to KY Painter, who organized a lot of the NAFO folks to make us images, including these images of sunflowers. For those of you who are joining special military operation for the first time, the history of the sunflowers is, of course, that we planted sunflowers outside of the embassy in Washington, and Ambassador Makarova, the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States, came to plant sunflowers with us. Somebody, and I don't know who, but I can only guess, destroyed the sunflowers that she planted along with some others. And so KY Painter created a set of sunflower images for us to project onto Russian diplomatic facilities using Lord Laser. And I just want to say that I, think that represents something. You can destroy sunflowers, but they come back, and they grow back. And the ones that we planted in front of the Ukrainian embassy are growing back. They are in front of the Russian embassy, sorry. They are growing back, and some of them are even blooming again. I'm sure they will be destroyed, but I suspect this spring we may see some more ones. But in addition, where you destroy sunflowers, this guy is saying Slava Ukraini. It's probably a little bit hard to see. Where you destroy sunflowers, people will find new sunflowers to, in this case, draw on the wall of the embassy, not merely to draw on. So here is, I actually specifically requested this. Here is a Ukrainian tractor towing away a Russian tank. And there is Volodymyr Zelensky. I could only do a image of him that was a little crude, because we can only do line drawings with Lord Laser. But all right, so a lot of you guys sent in images images for me to post, and I've tried to post them all. A lot of you have also sent in things you wanted to say to the Russian embassy. And so here is everything that was sent to me that was not too crude to publish. And, we're a classy operation here, so we're trying to keep it classy. But if you sent me something that I could understand, and that wasn't too crude to publish, I put it up there. And so we're gonna, so this is a message I wanted to send to the people in the embassy in Washington. And if you're one of the people in the embassy in Washington, there's still time, but, here in Canada, you guys can also defect and repent. And I'm going to make the wording here bigger because I can, and there's no reason, there's nobody here. We're not going to hurt anybody or get anybody too upset. So I'm just going to make it bigger, and give me just a second here. Oh, yes. Happy birthday, President Putin. There we go. All right. You know, people, Kherson is also Ukraine. Luhansk is also Ukraine. You know, we've got lots of images, lots of messages. Okay, so this one I had to write in I couldn't write it in Cyrillic because my system won't take a Cyrillic character set. This Moskalyaku Nagilyaku, it means Muscovites are out on a limb. Oh yeah, murderers and war criminals work in this building. And, you know, countries that believe in the rule of law have to defend and protect embassies. And that's why in special military operations, we always try to cooperate with law enforcement. We've never had a problem with law enforcement. But we don't have to pretend that these are normal people that we're hosting in our cities. They are people who steal children. You know, we should remember that these are people who steal children. We should remember that these are people who are, in fact, terrorists. And we should remind all Russian warships to go fuck themselves, because okay, so this was sent in to me on Twitter. It's a comment by an artist that is just wonderfully relevant. Yes, I also like a lot of these now came in from Twitter, and I really like this one. The world already knows you lost big time. Ooh, I misspelled Bucha. That was very bad of me to spell it Buncha. But whether we spell it Buncha or Bucha, we know what you did there. So what air defense doing is one of the great NATO slogans, NAFO slogans, as is "You pronounce this nonsense, not us," which came, of course, from Russian Ambassador Ulyanov. Zaporizhzhia is Ukraine. Look at that. And we are all still thinking about the nuclear power plant there. So I'm just going to let these run for a little while. And, you know, I'm not sure what kind of state the feed on this is because it looks like my internet is a little bit intermittent. But I just want to let these slogans run. And, you know, I've got a lot of battery life here. So I'm also, I've got an image that I particularly want to get on video here. We got it on the embassy in Washington, and that made me very happy. Ooh, that's a little too big. Let's put it there. Let's shrink it down just a little bit. And okay, there we go. We're putting it up right there proudly. And then, in the spirit of special military operations of all types, we should make it dance, because, you know, we should make it dance. I got to remember how to do that, though.
This is a interesting way to protest, huh?
You know, come on over here. I'm live streaming this, so I'm not talking to myself here. Yeah, but come on over. Let's chat. Let's see. Oops, wrong way.
Keep it up, man, because my family's a quarter Ukrainian, so.
Well,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
did you just happen by, or are
Yeah,
you?
I was just walking back from university.
Excellent. Well,
Great to watch, huh?
if you're on social media, share images of it, please. I'm talking here to a passerby. I'm not sure if you guys can hear him, but if you're on social media, please share images. We're we are we are live on Twitter right now, but please get us going on other social media sites as well. And to anybody hearing this, if you are in Ottawa, please do join us at the Russian Embassy. Please bring whatever lights, lasers, projectors you may have. And, we're just going to go with this until the battery runs out. And I'm here with a great Canadian who is taking pictures. I think prefers not to be named. And we will be sharing stills and video clips. And, we're just hanging out. It's a cool night. It's much cooler in Ottawa than it is in D.C. That really won't surprise anybody. So I have my Zelensky or Elensky images, but those aren't really very useful here because the Russians in Canada have not figured out to use Z spotlights in order to interfere with us. So there are no countermeasures here going on, which is actually kind of cool. We kind of have the wall of the embassy to ourselves. Happy birthday, President Putin. The birthday was yesterday. The birthday present was today. And, we just want to wish Mr. President a very happy, I think it's his 70th birthday. So as you age, Mr. President, it's you're only going to have more people hate you more. And, so this is probably the happiest birthday you're going to have left. Okay, let's... So again, this means Muscovites out on a limb. We're just gonna let this run. My Canadian Confederate is going to take pictures. Looks like the stream is a little bit intermittent here. There's no sign of hostile activity from the Russians. I don't think they've even noticed that we're here. And that means you can give them a happy Vladimir Putin birthday present by tweeting the shit out of this, so that when they get to the office tomorrow, they are going to find out that we've been projecting overnight on their walls. You can share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, start Reddit threads about it, and just grab screenshots and tweet them. We are live at the Canadian Embassy. My apologies to the nation of Canada. We are live at the Russian Embassy in Ottawa, conducting a special military operation. And, I'm just going to let these run. And here is what we're going to do. This is going to take me a minute to set up. I am, again, my internet is a little bit intermittent here. So pardon me if I'm flitting in and out. But what's going to happen now is if you tweet at me, I will hear you. I will see it eventually. And I can engage with you orally if you tweet at me. You're going to have to tweet at Benjamin Wittes. Oh, it's not really working that well.
Somebody just went in, so they know now.
Sorry?
Somebody just went in the door there.
Oh, so we have Russian activity in the embassy. I am informed. Oh yeah, somebody is going in the front door. This, we'll see, are the Russians in Canada ready to counter a special military operation, or are they completely flat-footed? Again, the message to all people inside that building is defect and repent. And, you know, I think we should probably show them some of the NAFO images that people were good enough to create for us. Okay, here they are.
I heard you were from out of the States, the U.S.?
I am from Washington, D.C., okay. And I've been doing this in Washington for a number of months, and some of my collaborators in these projects have been Canadian, or a lot of them have actually.
And
because there's a big Ukrainian community here, and so people have been asking me to do one of these in Ottawa. So here I am, let's see. I've got to shrink this down a little bit, make it visible.
Well, I'd just like to say, man, keep it up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And
I'll send these to my family. They're going to love it.
Excellent.
Yeah, back in Ukraine.
Slava Ukraini.
Yeah, Heroam Slava. Have a good night, huh?
You too. All right. I think we've got some images to show. We have activity in the embassy. Somebody has shown up. Not clear if that is related to the special military operation or not. We have no sign of law enforcement activity. A special shout out here to not Ukrainian law enforcement, to Canadian law enforcement for being solicitous, appropriately solicitous of free expression rights. Because out of respect for the Canadian legal system, I will not call them First Amendment rights while in Canada. I will call them charter rights.
Section 2B.
Section 2B of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And I want to thank Canadian law enforcement for taking as appropriate a view, if they've even noticed that we're here, as they apparently do. And we are just showing images. I'm sorry to the person who worked today to get that image of the Kirsch Bridge to me. Thank you for doing it, and I'm sorry it has not rendered better on the wall than it does. All right. So I have never done a special military operation before, other than the one with Avery at the Cultural Center, where we had less interference than we have here. At the Cultural Center, we had no interference because nobody was there. Here we know there is at least one person in the building. But we have not had any activity that we can discern, and no countermeasures. There are no spotlights. There's no apparent effort to stop us. Doesn't seem to be anybody doing much. And so we're just hanging out, showing NAFO images, showing important things for Russians in the embassy and around the world to see and hear and read. And we will be here until the battery runs out, which could be quite a while, or until somebody makes us stop. Thank you to the person, KY Painter, who today made me a tractor pulling a tank image. I could not appreciate that one more. And this picture of Volodymyr Zelensky, it's taken a while to put together a usable portrait. That's a single line drawing. So to all the NAFO fellows out there who have sent me stuff, thank you. You guys are great Americans, great Canadians, great Estonians and Germans, and from wherever you guys are working, I'm really really moved. Somebody is now coming out of the embassy. Going to be careful not to have any stuff that might affect anybody's eyes. Let's see where he's going, what he's up to. So let's, while he's here, let's, I think it's really important to make the flag dance a little for him. And so in the event that my Twitter live stream is flitting in and out, the audio or the visual, my apologies for that. My Wi-Fi hotspot doesn't work in Canada, so I'm just kind of operating off of my native iPhone internet connection. And but fortunately, I've got a great Canadian here taking pictures, taking video, which we'll be uploading to Twitter later this evening, just in time for daybreak in Ukraine. And right now we do have unimpeded the Ukrainian flag waving on the Russian embassy in Ottawa. We have no law enforcement interference. We seem to have caught the embassy staff completely flat-footed. And I want to emphasize to the foreign ministry, we have 2 people now going up the stairs of the embassy. I want to emphasize to the foreign ministry that the staff of the embassy in Canada has really fallen down flat on the job, because in Washington, the embassy staff comes out with lights, with Z spotlights, with V spotlights, and they do battle on behalf of the Russian Federation. And here, there's they have no fight in them. And I think, now somebody is pulling up in a car. So while I'm taunting them, we've definitely got some more activity going here. It is not within range of my camera, but somebody seems to be approaching. I am just going to keep the Ukrainian flag on the Russian embassy, and we'll see what happens. Again, there do seem to be people in the embassy now. So maybe they have gotten noticed that from social media. Now the car here is pulling up, shining lights on me. I'm going to shift the camera so that we can see this car. Just in case it's anything hostile, I'm going to put the camera... What's that?
No red license plates, and it's definitely not a cop.
It's not a cop. It's as long as it's not somebody from...
The RCMP around the corner.
So I'm told that the RCMP is here, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I would be delighted to talk to them if they have any questions. As followers of special military operations know, I always try to maximally cooperate with law enforcement during these operations. I assume that the like the Secret Service in Washington, that the RCMP takes the view, and I have not dealt with the RCMP about this at all, but the Secret Service in Washington takes the view that as long as you're not maliciously shining lights in people's eyes, and in this case, this is a laser, so it's, you could actually use it maliciously, but we're not. As long as you don't do that, they have no problem with the use of it for protests. I am informed by a passerby to whom we give thanks that the RCMP is in the neighborhood and is just watching from around the corner. So I assume they are taking a similarly pro-free expression position. The Russians are in the embassy, at least 2 of them. They are not, unlike the ones in Washington, they are not trying to interfere. And I would like to point out that that makes them very bad representatives of their country, because they're not fighting Ukrainian nationalism and all of its signs. So let's give them something to talk about here. We are going to go back to. We gotta stop the movement here. As you all know from watching previous special military operations, these things are a little chaotic. They happen at the rate at which they happen. Don't look in the, yeah, thanks. They happen at the speed at which they happen. Things get a little chaotic. People pass by, have things to say. So we're gonna go back to making the, yeah, there we go, nice and big. So if you are just joining us, we are in Ottawa in the first international special military operation. We will be doing more international special military operations. Oh, somebody is now coming out of the embassy. We are, it looks like he's walking away. So again, the Russians do not seem to be trying to interfere. Confederate, can you text Mateo? Oh, we have some law enforcement presence now from the RCMP, and let's see what they have to say. Hello, sir.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. So you're displaying a message on there, is that the idea?
A series of messages, yep.
Yeah.
We're messages, images, and nothing harmful, nothing, nothing.
Yeah, you're opening up, I don't know, like shining a light on somebody else's building, right?
We are doing that.
I don't know necessarily how good that is as an idea. Like certainly, like protesting and messages are fine.
If you ask me to stop, I will stop. We've done this in Washington a whole bunch of times, and we've never had problems with law enforcement there. If you tell me I need to stop, I'll turn it off.
I don't know the legality of it. Right? There's a possibility that it could be mischief, right?
So
I don't want you guys to get into any bother, right? I'll tell you now, as the RCMP, we don't get involved. Like this is Ottawa Police's jurisdiction.
Gotcha. So if any law enforcement tells me that it's improper and that I shouldn't be doing it, I will turn it off.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, we'll call it into our guys. Like I said, if anybody's going to come and deal with you and in terms of dealing with any illegal activity, it will be the Ottawa Police. We'll just sort of pass them on to them, but we'll find out.
All right. Well, we have displayed everything that we need to display, and I am happy to turn it off at this point. I mean,
yeah.
we've done everything we came to do, and I'm not looking for trouble,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not.
What I would suggest, certainly, before doing something like that, I would just give like the Ottawa police station a call. Say, this is what I'm planning on doing.
Okay.
And
Well, I will, out of respect for that, I will shut it off.
the only other concern would, of course, be like depending on what light it is, if it's going in people's drivers' eyes and stuff as they're coming.
Well, it's
up the
well
street.
over that. We're quite careful about that. Okay.
I'm disappointed you don't realize you have an internet celebrity. Very disappointed you didn't recognize that.
I didn't recognize it.